So, what if I told you that one of the biggest challenges in feeding our planet comes down to counting fruit? It sounds almost too simple, right? Well, today we're going to look at how some seriously advanced AI is tackling the surprisingly difficult job of counting jackfruit and what that means for the future of our food. All right, just take a look at this picture. How hard could it be? You just count the fruit. But what if getting an accurate number here is actually a massive headache for modern farmers? Let's dig in and find out why. It's because jackfruit are basically masters of disguise. I'm serious. Their green, bumpy skin blends perfectly with the leaves. They grow in these really dense, overlapping clusters, and they come in all sorts of weird shapes and sizes, which is a total nightmare for any automated system. And honestly, it's tough even for us. And look, this isn't just some quirky problem about one type of fruit. This is a small piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. To feed almost 10 billion people, we have to get way smarter about farming. We need what's called precision agriculture, and the absolute foundation of that is having accurate data. So let's really break down this counting problem. Why are the old school methods just not cutting it anymore? Well, think about it. Sending people into the fields to count every single fruit by hand is incredibly slow, it's expensive, and we humans make mistakes. We're talking error rates as high as 20 or 30%. Plus, a manual count can't just instantly adapt to things like a sudden heat wave or crop disease, which leave farmers trying to plan for the future with what's basically just a guess. To get around all this, researchers turned to a really powerful tool: computer vision. The goal here was to teach an AI how to see and count these tricky fruits, and maybe, just maybe, do it better than any human ever could. Okay, so how in the world do you teach a machine to become an expert at spotting jackfruit? It's a really fascinating process, so let's get into it. They used a cutting-edge AI model called YOLO V8X, and the name is just fantastic. It stands for You Only Look Once. See, unlike older models that had to scan an image multiple times, YOLO processes the whole thing in one single pass. That makes it incredibly fast and efficient at finding what it's looking for. The training was basically a 4-stage boot camp for the AI. First, they collected over 1,600 photos of jackfruit in all kinds of conditions. Then came the really hard part. People had to sit there and manually draw a box around every single fruit. To make the AI even smarter, they then augmented that data, digitally creating thousands of new variations. Finally, they had the AI study this massive library over and over again, 200 times, until it knew exactly what a jackfruit looked like. And this part is absolutely crucial if you want to build an AI you can trust. They didn't just show it all the pictures and hope it worked. They split the data. 70% was for training, that's like the AI's textbook. 15% was for validation, you can think of those as pop quizzes, and the final 15% was the final exam, a set of images the AI had never ever seen before. This whole process proves the AI is genuinely learning, not just memorizing the test. And that data augmentation step, think of it this way. You're showing the AI the jackfruit in every possible disguise you can imagine. You're flipping the image, changing the brightness, rotating it, even adding a little blur. This teaches the model to recognize a jackfruit no matter the conditions, which makes it tough enough for the real world. So, after all that training, it was time for the final exam. How did our AI do? Well, the results are pretty staggering. First, let's talk precision. It scored an incredible 99.3%. In simple terms, that means when the AI points at something and says, "Yep, that's a jackfruit," it's right almost every single time. It doesn't see things that aren't there. Next up, we have recall, which came in at a very solid 85.7%. This number tells us how thorough the AI is. So out of all the real jackfruit hiding in the images, it successfully found and tagged almost 86% of them. That's seriously impressive considering how well they blend in. Now, I know these graphs can look a bit complicated, but they tell a really simple and powerful story. Think of the top row as the AI's mistakes. See how those lines trend downwards? That's the AI learning and making fewer and fewer errors over time. Now look at the bottom row. These lines represent its accuracy. So as the mistakes go down, its performance goes up. We are literally watching the AI get smarter with each training cycle. Okay, so impressive results in the lab are great, but how does this actually help a farmer out in the field? Let's see how this research was turned from a bunch of code into a practical tool. The researchers built this simple, really elegant web application. A farmer can just upload a photo from their orchard, and the AI gets to work instantly, giving them a count and highlighting every single fruit it finds. No fuss.
And check this out. This is where the AI really flexes its muscles. It's tackling one of the biggest challenges, something called occlusion. You got this dense cluster of fruit, all overlapping and hiding each other. But the AI just confidently picks them apart, spotting individual fruits that a person could easily miss, or maybe even double count. It's also incredibly robust. Right here, it's accurately identifying ripe, yellow jackfruit in bright sunlight. It's not fooled by the change in color or the different lighting. And that proves just how valuable all that data augmentation was during its training. And this is where it really becomes more than just a counting tool. It transforms those raw numbers into actionable intelligence. The dashboard can track yields, pinpoint the most productive parts of an orchard, and give farmers the hard data they need to make smarter decisions about the future. Ultimately, a project like this is about way more than just a cool app. It's really a blueprint for the entire future of agriculture. You know, the researchers behind this project said it best. Their goal is to advance data-driven horticultural intelligence for real-time, climate-resilient, smart farming. In other words, they're using technology to build a food system that's more efficient, more sustainable, and ready for whatever challenges come next. And the work doesn't stop here. The next big step is to make this AI even smaller and more efficient, so it can run directly on a smartphone or a drone right there in the field, with no internet required. That would be a complete game changer, putting this power directly into the hands of farmers, anywhere on the globe. It really makes you think, doesn't it? If AI can master the incredible complexity of the jackfruit, what's the next great food challenge it should solve? Thanks for tuning in.